are supposed to discuss CloudFront. Okay, so CloudFront is also very widely used services in many of the customer environment. Many enterprises have users geographically dispersed and located, right? So this CloudFront can help you to make the services reach your end users in the same speed, latency, and so on. So let me just go inside the CloudFront service. So with CloudFront, you can create some services in your EC2 instances or load balancers, or even if you want to create some website, static website, or dynamic delivery of data. So this services speeds up the distribution of the access to the static content. Maybe let me take a couple of minutes to show you a quick demo, and then that way you can easily pick up the points what I'm trying to convey. Okay, so CloudFront is nothing but a CDN, or a content delivery network, or it's a caching network. It's a caching location. So CloudFront, from the name itself, you can see that it is one step before your CloudFront, right? So here, CDN, it is a content delivery network. So different cloud providers use different name for this. So here in AWS, they call it as Amazon CloudFront. It is a caching location. It's a caching service. So through which the frequently accessed data, either from your dynamic or static content, can be used. So CloudFront is a web service to speed up the distribution of the web content. It can be static in nature, and sometimes it might be dynamic, and videos, and it can have all kind of files like .html, .css, .js, image files, and all those stuffs. Okay, so I'll show you how the content can be delivered across the global network. And so in other words, CloudFront, they also call it as edge location or edge network also. So this is edge network or edge location, and so on. So I'll show you a quick demo. Let us go to the console here. I will try to create a S3 bucket, and then maybe even you can do the same on your server also. On we did a lab couple of days back, right? We created two servers, and then we created a elastic load balancer, and we started seeing the traffic going to different systems. So that can also be used, or else you can use oh, okay, we have got a lot of buckets here. Let's say I'm using the bucket that I've created the other day. Let's say Ratish bucket, and okay, it doesn't have any content. So what I will do is I will upload some files. So I've got some sample files on my location, on my system. So this doesn't have a big content. Okay, it is 1 KB file. So this is the cascading style sheet, right? On how I want my images to be visible, how many columns, how many rows, and all those things. So I've got some images here. Okay, so I've got some. So I'm saying that I want to have a website, which is my hobby of having a cafe shop, and let me just upload these content. I'll just copy all of them. So generally, if you want to do some website hosting or static website hosting, you generally need to have an index page, and then if the index doesn't work or the website doesn't work, so you need to give them the error page on um, how you can fix that issue, or how you can overcome that particular challenge. Right now I'm uploading this documents here. Let me go to my okay, I'm uploading it to my, okay, there are some, okay, the image files are little heavier in size. Okay, so simple. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is, so I have an index file. So this index file will have the structure. So this cascading style sheet, right? So this cascading style sheet is going to say that this image has to be on this right corner, and it should have this much of X and Y sizing, and then this is how it looks like. Okay, so this is a kind of sample web page that I've created. So I'll show you how quickly we can get this done, right? So once after I upload it, it takes hardly 2 to 3 minutes to have a website ready for a particular customer. So it is uploading few files somewhere around. So if you don't want to have these many graphical things, just have an index page and error page. That should be sufficient. Okay, so once after you do that, go to your properties. There is an option called static website hosting on your S3 bucket. So you can click on edit and then you can enable it. So you can host a static website, and here you can say what is the if you have a different name for your index and error, you can change it. Like maybe if you have some company.html is the index page, you can just update the company.html or whatever name. So if you don't update it, it will go and search for index.html. Okay, so now I have just saved the changes. Okay, it is asking for the, okay, so it says I have to give it. So index.html, error.html. Okay, even you can configure redirection if you want to. See, currently I'm trying to access this static website. This is the URL that I've got. And if I'm trying to access this from global locations, let's say, what is this? Let's use some proxy site, GeoPeeker kind of sites. So GeoPeeker will go and try to access your website from different geographical locations. This is the kind of example site. There are hundreds of sites like this. So this has got some sample locations like Singapore, Brazil, and these things. I will add my site URL here. Okay, and let me go and search the connectivity. Okay, it is viewing the result for this particular website now. See, I can see that it is throwing error, but still you can see that the latency is different from all these sites. So from Singapore it is taking 179, from Brazil it is taking this much, and maybe from Ireland it is so quick. The reason is the Ratish bucket, we have created it in which location? We have created it in Stockholm, which is very closer to Ireland, right? So that is the reason the latency is very less for that particular website. But let me click on this. Okay, access denied, request ID while attempting. Okay, let me just go and check the permissions. Bucket owner. Okay. Okay, let me just go and check the file permission. Okay, so the file is working, but then the access to the subsequent content is not working, right? Okay. So let us do one thing. Let us try this way. I will copy this URL and then try to access that index.page. Okay, that is also showing error. Okay, so it is not. Let me do one thing. So we did not restrict anything the other day when we created it, right? Object ownership, bucket owner enforced. Okay, access. So let's try to change this, or else we can create one more bucket and then allow the access. See, the simple thing is like you're able to follow me, right? So when I'm trying to reach that bucket, the latency is different based on the source location. So if I'm trying to access it from US or Brazil, so these are all in South America and North America, right? And then, but if I'm accessing it from Ireland, it is much closer. So the different geographical users experience different speed and latency based on the locations from they are connecting from. This is S3 bucket policy. Allow the principal I will say allow all for now. And then I will also allow all actions just for quicker thing. And then add the resource name. Then add the statement. Generate the policy. So what is the difference here? Action S3 allow effect allow. Pretty much it looks the same, but anyways, I will copy this and then paste it there. Okay, I'll check what is the difference. Okay, but there is some error that is showing up. But this looks pretty straightforward, right? We are allowing access to this S3 bucket for all of them. And let me go and search now. So it will take 1 or 2 minutes for the changes to reflect. Just give it some time. Okay, just give some time. Maybe it will work in a minute. So retrieve a custom error object. This is all fine. Okay, so sometimes this is what might happen. See, I've given the permission at the bucket level. Okay, so sometimes this might be the reason. Okay, what I have to do is I also have to add a condition. Okay, so instead of this, let me try to copy the bucket and then all actions slash star. Let's try this condition. Maybe I will remove the older one because the earlier condition it says it is only allowing the policy at the bucket level and not within that particular bucket for the next level of objects. Right now this time I've changed the policy to include the permission for the content within that bucket also. So that might be the reason. I think even last time also that here when I tried adding it, it gave the error. Let's see if it works. Okay, if it works now. Maybe now let's go to the Ratish bucket and then try to give it a refresh and then copy the link. Maybe that is the problem. So when you're giving permission, try to give permission to the content within that bucket. So open this. Perfect. Okay, it works. So it's small mistake, but then we also tend to do that. Okay, so here instead of giving permission only to the bucket level, we also need to give the permission to the files within that bucket. See, within a couple of minutes, we are able to create a website for a particular company or whatever of our interest, right? So we were able to do it. So now I have got this link, which is the static website. I can try to go and get that access from different geographical location. Now I should see the page in all the locations. See, the difference will be there in terms of the latency from Brazil, Virginia, Singapore. They are all from Asia Pacific and Americas, whereas when you are trying to access it from Ireland, it is much faster, right? 39 millisecond. Now, this is a kind of demo on how to create a static website using your S3 bucket. Similarly, you can do this within your server by installing Apache or IAS or whatever. So you can create a website, and the topic that we were discussing is CloudFront, right? So CloudFront, when the users are accessing it from different geographical locations, from worldwide network of locations, what AWS does is they have different point of presence. They have got different edge location through which they can catch the content, and then that content which is cached, it can be accessed immediately, or it can be delivered immediately with lowest latency. So I'll show you the quick demo on that. That is the demo I was supposed to show, but this is another step which you can do one step before going into the CloudFront. So we need to have a website, right? So that's the reason I went for S3 as an example. So you can create a EC2 instance and have load balancers and use that for demo. But here I'll also create a demo on using Elastic Load Balancer. Okay, if you want to practice that, you can practice it. So Amazon CloudFront is the fastest content delivery network, CDN. It actually delivers the content which are frequently used, like the data, videos, application, the stuffs, with for the customers who are globally distributed in from different region, and it reduces the latency, it reduces the content delivery time, and also it saves a lot of cost. Up to 30% cost savings is also there when you are using the CloudFront, because a lot of the content network access cost will be minimized. Okay, so these are the highest level of benefits, but I'll explain all the benefits. There are many more benefits other than what is listed here. Okay. So at the very first benefit is it will reduce the latency for the content which are frequently used. And if you look at here, there are around 225 point of present which are globally managed and maintained by AWS. So wherever location, whichever locations you are accessing from, for example, Chennai doesn't have a Amazon data center, whereas Hyderabad and Mumbai has got. So in Chennai and Bangalore and other Delhi and kind of cities, if you want to access the same content from Mumbai or Hyderabad, what it will do is it will use the point of present location, nothing but the content delivery network, or you can call it as catching location or CloudFront location. So these point of present will catch all those content at the network level, and then it will provide access through a fully redundant connection. Okay, so it is not going to get any impact because CloudFront is automatically highly distributed. It has got multiple ways of catching the content. It has got 3 copies of content, so it is not going to get impacted. It is a fully redundant service. It will have multiple connection point, and it also improves the security. By default, SSL encryption is enforced. So if you are accessing the data in transit is always encrypted, and you can also configure the header configuration, or if you want to configure some ACLs also, you can do it within the CloudFront. So CloudFront, since the data that we are accessing is getting reduced because of caching, so automatically the data transfer fees also will get reduced. So up to 30% of the reduction, we can see it in many of the customer use cases, and it is pretty straightforward. It is pay as you go. Whatever the number of amount of data that the CloudFront is processing, you have to pay for it. This is an extra cost affair. Okay, it's not free of cost. It comes with additional cost. We are using the AWS content delivery network. We call it as edge location or CloudFront location or catching location. All are same. Okay, even point of presence is also another word for that. So I'll show you how to do that demo quickly. So these are all some of the use cases. I will come to the use cases in a couple of minutes. So these are some of the use cases. Fine. So I'll explain each and every use cases, but let's go and create a CloudFront. Okay, these are the free tier limit and charges. Santosh is always interested on the charges. Okay, so this is the pricing. Okay, so there is a package pricing also. Whenever you see bundle, so if you go for that bundle, sometimes you might save a significant cost. It's like a savings plan. Okay, now go to the CloudFront creation. So here I can just say it is a S3 origin. So where we have created Ratish, right? Ratish bucket. And I can also give the origin path. I can say use web endpoint 80 port is fine. So Ratish S3 is fine. So if you want to add some header or footer, you can do it. Or if you want to compress the objects automatically, this will save some cost. Okay, if you are compressing the cached content, it will enable you to get better benefits. You can also allow both the put post also can be done through the caching location. So that way, whenever the content which you are accessing, it always comes through the CloudFront location. But if you want to, the developers or if the new files want to be pushed or put into the S3 bucket through the CloudFront, even the upload also will be much faster and quicker. Okay, so generally the CloudFront is used for accessing the content much quicker and much faster for the end user perspective. Even if you are a developer, if you want to upload the file through the CloudFront, that is also possible. So you can also put post and then make some updates and changes to your stuff. If you want to enforce HTTPS only, you can also do that. HTTPS only. So let me just create and then see if I'm able to get a distribution. It says, sorry. Okay. If you want to, one second. Sorry. So if you want to protect your content from the default or the most frequently attacked stuffs like the WAF protection, web application firewall protection, can also be integrated. You can integrate with other services like Shield and DDoS protection can also be integrated. But here I'm just not going to add that. It is going to add some additional cost for you. And then see, for better performance, you can use all the edge location. In some customer environment, you might have users only from a particular region, maybe from, if your business is operating out of Americas and Europe, you can go for that edge location alone, so that you can fine tune the list of edge location that you want to have. But if your users are global in nature and they might be roaming from and accessing it from anywhere, or if you have customers across the globe, then go for use all edge location. But you can also restrict specific regional edge locations if you want to use the regional edge caches. Regional edge caches are much faster compared to the global edge location. So that way, if you want to fine tune it, you can fine tune it. So it is getting deployed. It will take at least 3-4 minutes for the distribution to be available. So after that, you can start using the content using this distribution name instead of using the Amazon S3 bucket. So you will get a name on the CloudFront domain, and the end users can start using it. See, generally people will not be given the same name, so they will go to the DNS server, and then within the DNS server, maybe they will add something like www dot com, and the redirection will be to this particular link. So you can create a record in route 53 or cloud, or you can use a CNAME record for canonical name. So if someone is accessing using this name, they will be redirected to that website or that other link that you're giving, either the load balancer or the server name or whatever. So on premises DNS server, you can create a CNAME record, but in the cloud, you have a record where you can configure a alias entry. That is also another option through which you can route the traffic from one name to another name, or one FQD and one fully qualified domain name to another fully qualified domain name also. That is possible. So now after the deployment is complete, successfully created the new deployment. It will take some time. You can first go and check it from your local machine. Okay, it is still going on, so give it some time. At least it will take 2 to 3 minutes. And once after this is done, so you will be able to access the same website from different geographical location at the same latency, at the same speed. The content will be cached in the nearby location, and once the content is accessed by a particular person or a end user, the subsequent access from that particular location will be coming from the edge location, not from the actual source. So if the content is already cached in the nearby CloudFront location or the content delivery location, the CloudFront retrieves the content from the origin, and it will have that data, the media package or the static contents or the web files. It will store it in the local edge location, and subsequent access from that particular same region where the edge location is present. If someone has already accessed the content from Chennai location, if Chennai edge location has got the content will be provided from the Chennai location. See, if your website is so dynamic and a lot of changes are there, then go and change the timeout or the TTL so that the catching does not provide the old content. Okay, so that way you know how frequently the changes are made to your website. If you want to update the TTL or the catching timing, you can go and change the catching timeout. So that way, the not all the users, not there is a not much delay for the changes to reflect, right? So that is important. So yeah, this speeds up the distribution of the content by routing the end users to the AWS edge network or the AWS backbone network instead of serving it directly from the S3 or from the load balancer. It provides you fastest delivery. On the other side, dramatically there might be a lot of other challenges which you might face because of the catching and the behavior. So ensure the catching timeout or the time to live will be as per the changes that the organization makes. So if they are making too many changes in a day or in a week, so go and update the catching location. So that way, the latest content will be visible for the end users. So that is important, right? Let's say, so hopefully it should work by now. It's working already, right? So you can see the same link, CloudFront link has started showing me the website. So this is myself only, okay? So sometime back, couple of years, few years back. So I will just go and check this now from the GeoPeaker. Okay, so what should be the ideal result now? So every location should be able to access the CloudFront or the website with the same latency. See, 1 millisecond from North Virginia, from Singapore, 1 millisecond, from Ireland, 1 millisecond, from California, 1 millisecond, Australia, it's still loading, Brazil, it's still loading. So that is how the CloudFront helps you to provide uniform speed and access for global users. If you're using CloudFront, the content that you're trying to access, it will start getting cached in the regional location. So there will be a catch in Ireland now, there will be a catch in Australia now. So the speed is much faster. See, 100 millisecond, 200 millisecond has changed to 1 millisecond and less than 1 millisecond. So that's the speed you get using the CloudFront solution. So you can use Global Accelerator also as an alternate where all the traffic will flow through AWS backbone network. So I will explain about Global Accelerator. There is another service which is very much equivalent to similar to CloudFront, but AWS CloudFront, you can configure catching, and this helps you to manage the content efficiently. So whatever the content you are trying to access from global locations, everyone will feel the same experience, even though the bucket is in where Stockholm, right? Yeah, even though the bucket is in Europe, Stockholm, the users from Singapore, Brazil, Ireland, they are all having the same latency, and they are able to say the content, say the same content with very less speed. The IP address is different, right? You can see that for Brazil, it has given a different edge location IP. For Singapore, it has given a different edge location IP. So different people are accessing it through different servers, which means there is a lot of different edge location from they are getting the content, and each and every city has got different things. See, even Virginia and California has got different IP address. So more or less, the octet is the first octet is same, it is 18, but then the server IP address is different in California and North Virginia. Even though both are from US, they are accessing the content through different edge location or the edge server. They are able to follow me, right? So if you are trying to access the content directly from the S3 bucket, based on the region from where the users are accessing it, there will be a difference in the latency and the speed. But if you are using CloudFront or Global Accelerator or Caching Network, so this will help you to deliver the content through the CloudFront edge locations. So the end user's content will be cached in the nearby edge location, and everyone will have the same level of experience from the edge server. So edge network is nothing but a kind of server which will perform the caching. So they might use some riverbed appliance or similar network appliances to enforce the compression or help with doing all the caching work. But at the end, it is served through different servers which are located in your CloudFront location, the content delivery network location. So it's a web service that helps you to speed up the distribution of your content for the global users. So it can help you to deliver the content over the wide range of networking locations. So they call it as edge location. So CloudFront is nothing but edge location or point of present location or CDN. So you can use different names. Okay, I already mentioned it here. Okay, so edge location, CDN location, point of presence location, um, caching location, all are the same. Okay, but different names in different cloud, they might use different terminology. At the end, it speeds up the distribution of the content by routing the request to the nearest edge location. Instead of sending the request directly to that end S3 bucket, it is helping you to distribute through the edge location. So the same example is routed here. So the very first time the user, when they access it, it will access it from the S3 bucket, and the subsequent access, when the users are accessing it, their content will be coming from the nearest edge location. So if they are accessing some new files, so those new files will also get started caching. So whatever the existing content that is already in the regional cache or the edge location, those content will be dynamically provided from the edge location. Instead of coming from what do you call the Europe Stockholm, it will directly come from the Singapore edge location or Chennai edge location. So that way the content whatever they have got will this will reduce the amount of data getting transferred from the data center to the end user. Instead, the content will only get transferred from the edge location. Also, you can have encryption and time to live configured for the content. Okay, if you want to have some retention period expiration, you can go and configure it. Okay, so these are the some of the feature. It is very easy to configure. It took only a couple of minutes to configure it, and you can integrate with S3 bucket or EC2 instances, load balancers, or wherever you are hosting your website like Elastic Beanstalk. You can go and integrate the CloudFront, and it is very easy to route the request. It also supports compression, encryption when the data is stored, encryption when the data is being accessed via the network. So it supports secure socket layer. It also supports transport layer security. HTTPS is supported. It supports media content as well as the static web content, HTML, CSS, JavaScript files. So all these files, images are supported. You can also configure blacklisting and whitelisting, from which region you want to access, which IP address you want to restrict. So all those options are inbuilt with CloudFront. You can also integrate with web application firewall and DDoS protection and other stuff that is also supported. And you can configure it through the console that I showed, or you can use CLI CloudFormation templates or Terraform templates to create it. That is supported. So this is pay as you go model. Whatever the amount of data that the CloudFront processes, the caches it used for the storing the content, the storage cost, and then the data transfer cost is applicable. This is not a free service. The content delivery network where the content is cached, you have to pay for it. But then overall, many customers have got cost reduction after using CloudFront. Maybe 30% to 40% cost reduction has come because of how the way that this solution is developed. Right, there are many use cases. The very basic use case is the static content delivery that we saw. We created a static website using some images, style sheets, and web pages. So now I showed you the demo also. Globally, like when the users are accessing, they are getting the same experience, same speed, irrespective of the locations. You'll be able to access the content. in a very accelerated way, in a speed way. Okay, even the dynamic content can also be delivered. It's not just limited to web pages, even some search result, or even if you want to have some video streaming, even the http live streaming is also supported. Even you can have the dynamic adaptive streaming also, if you want to live stream some cricket matches, or if you are doing some live streaming of some prime minister speech or whatever, right? So those can also be cached in the CloudFront. So that way, say if 1,000 people are watching from Chennai, not all 1,000 people will be accessing from the S3. Instead, the video will be coming from the nearest catch location. So that way, the delivery of the videos and the streaming will be much faster. See, 20 years back or 25 years back, how the latencies used to be, right? So there will be a lot of buffering and other stuff to watch one single video. You might take 1 hour, even if it is a 10-15 minutes video, because of the buffering and the catching and all those things. Now, if you're using S3, not S3, like CloudFront and Global Accelerator or similar services, there are many seamless benefit that you can get. So all the videos and the live streaming will be getting cached in the nearest CloudFront, and the viewers, maybe thousands and lakhs of viewers will be there, right? So not they will not go to the actual origin or from where the video is getting rendered, right? Instead, they will be accessing it from the nearest edge catching location. You can configure a lot of security stuffs. Encryption is supported, compression is supported. You can also customize and improve the API performance. It is globally accessible, right? But if you want to restrict it to only to US or Europe, that is also supported. But in general, most of the use cases, we will use all the global edge location. Some people also use it for software distribution. For example, monthly patches or monthly some new images are now new packages has to be distributed using some Intune, sorry, not this SCCM or MECM, or if you want to integrate with some big fix or other tools, even you can use it as a software distribution, so that the software is not coming from the actual source server. Instead, it will be cached in the nearby location, and the packages and the zip files which you want to use for a different system, it will be much faster in getting applied, right? So a lot of people use it for global e-commerce website, and even a lot of developers use it for API acceleration. So those are some of the use cases and the features. Now coming to the benefit. So CloudFront can be accessible globally. It provides you improved performance, and it provides you the scalability on the backend automatically based on the demand. On the backend, AWS will create more edge servers for catching the content. Security is there by default. You have encryption. You can integrate with web application firewall. You can configure shield for DDoS protection, and it also reduces the latency by catching the content. Reliability is far better because they have high availability and failover configured automatically. See, it is not catching in one single location. It might be getting cached in Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, and Kolkata, and different catch locations are there. Okay, so there are many catch locations. If you go and check that in website, you will understand. So AWS CDN locations. So you can see it is in Mangalore also. Okay, so if wherever people, so it is 410 pop location. Even the site is not yet up to the date. So 400 edge location, 13 regional mid-tier catches. This is much. If you are using regional mid-tier catches, it will be much faster. So you can see that there are many different location. Regional edge catches are there. Multiple edge locations are there. Okay, so around 410 point of presence are there, 400 edge locations are there, and there are many locations, looks like. So they keep adding. Okay, so you can go and get the list in the. Okay, Asia Pacific. Yeah, so you can see Coimbatore, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Ahmedabad. See, in India alone, you can see many locations. Even Nellore has got one, Bangalore has got one, Pune, Rajkot, Ranchi. See, the users from these location, even from Trivandrum, sorry, Thiruvananthapuram, right? So even users from these locations, they don't have to go to the actual source load balancer or the S3 location. They will have a catching in Kochi and Trivandrum, Chennai, Coimbatore, right? So all these locations are also getting the catching. And even there are some very big edge locations. These are all regional edge locations like main metro cities. You'll get even much better performance from Chennai, Pune. So these are all having regional edge caches are also there. Okay, so the contents are not getting delivered from the actual location like Stockholm. Instead, it is getting cached in the nearest location, Trivandrum or Chennai or whatever location the end user is accessing from, and they will get the better performance. I'll go and delete these things because it is going to end up as a pricing for me. So I will go and first clean up the CloudFront. So that way I don't know I have to pay anything. So these are all chargeable stuffs. Okay, once after you practice, you go and delete it. First disable it. One more thing, see, when you configure this CloudFront, automatically there will be a policy that will get inherited. If you just go to permission somewhere, this way, canonical read, you will see a difference here. Encryption, server access, event notification, transfer acceleration. So you will see one small entry that is coming and adding up in your transfer acceleration is similar thing. Global. Okay, maybe I've already disabled it. Okay, so once after I integrate the CloudFront, it will automatically go and add one entry to integrate that CloudFront distribution on your S3 bucket. Now it is already disabled. Now I can go and delete it. So once after the deploying is complete, you can go and delete it. Okay, so same thing. Maybe like S3 bucket is fine. It is not going to cost me as much the CloudFront is going to, but CloudFront, yeah, delete it immediately. So there are many benefits, like you will get real-time metrics on how many people are accessing it, how many locations people are accessing it. This has got a lot of different monitoring metrics here. So if you just go and look at the behaviors and then the monitoring, you will know like from which locations people are accessing it, from which region there are more access and all those things. So there is a lot of visibility here. So if I just go and look at the distribution metrics, it will show me which region, which location is accessing more, and then how much data transfer it is happening, and how many requests are going. See, already 178 MB content has been cached in different locations. The reason is I've tried accessing it from 6 different geographical locations. So all these cache location has got that content. See, it is like these many locations, 178 MB has got uploaded, I mean, to those edge location. So that's the thing. But if you're practicing it, you can practice whatever I showed you, but ensure that the contents are removed immediately. So that way you can stop getting billed. So 81 request has come already because of the different geo peaker will continuously try to access the make a request. That's the reason there is a lot of request here. So you will get a lot of metrics, a lot of visibility. You can also get some more details on where exactly the users are accessing from. You can use CloudWatch to get little more better visibility, right? So that is all there. So metrics are already there, analytics information you will get, and there are many different CloudFront options. Okay, edge location is different, regional edge caches are different. Regional edge caches are very large network room or server room where the contents will be much faster. So if some viewers will get that data directly from the origin server, and then once they start using the edge location, they might get it from the edge location, and sometimes they will also get it from the regional edge caches. For example, Chennai has got regional edge location. Even within Chennai also, you might have different location. Maybe they might have one in Sriperumbudur, something in the OMR, something in the outskirt. They might also have different pop location. So sometimes the content might come from regional edge caches and the combination of edge locations also. So at the end, you are getting the content, whichever the contents which are frequently accessed, that are getting stored in the CloudFront, which is the combination of edge location and regional edge caches. where the content is cached and it is provided to the end user. So there is a lot of security benefits that you get. Already I told you, you can integrate with a shield for a distributed denial of service attack. Web application firewall can be integrated. SSL termination, encryption at the rest, and the data transfer is there. You can also restrict the geographical uses. You can also say the content should be accessible only from Europe, or only from US, or only from Singapore or Asia Pacific. You can also do geo restriction within the CloudFront. And also you have a lot of access control features. You can also restrict the access from the S3 bucket itself, or if you want to restrict it at the CloudFront, or if you want to integrate with some authentication system or multi-factor authentication want to be enforced, you can also do that. So you can also use prefix list to allow traffic only from a particular IP range. I also already told you, right, what is managed prefix list. You can also select the prefix list. You can say only Hyderabad users or only users from India. If you want to allow access, you can also select the managed prefix list, so that the routing of the content can be visible only for the specific location. So there are multiple other options. The pricing already we discussed. There is pricing for using CloudFront, and whatever the amount of content you are catching and storing in your S3 bucket, that is going to be charged, and whatever the amount of data that you are transferring through the CloudFront, that is also going to be chargeable. But overall, for many customers, I have seen 30 to 40% of cost reduction while using CloudFront, because of the catching nature, compression nature, and how the end users are utilizing the edge location. So the pricing benefits are there. So whatever the data that are getting transferred out via the edge location, you have to pay for it. You also, if some people are continuously accessing through the encryption and HTTPS request, there is a small additional surcharges for that. Okay, so this is what all about CloudFront. CloudFront is in line with payment card industry, HIPAA compliance, SOC compliance. So many different industry vertical will ask whether CloudFront is compliant and legally okay to use with some payment card industry like finance or insurance or healthcare, HIPAA, or many manufacturing or automobile. So almost all the compliance standards are there. You can go ahead and very much use CloudFront for any industry vertical. Okay, so CloudFront is a very useful solution. You can deploy this for many customer environment. Any questions so far on CloudFront? Practice it. Okay, so I know you will be able to understand what we are talking about, but if you go and try doing some practical, it will give you a little more extra confidence. Okay, so the next topic is on VPN. Maybe we have got only 25 minutes. I need 2 hours at least for the VPN concept. Let's see if I can cover something else. So we have discussed managed prefix list and CloudFront. Any questions so far? Okay, yes, no, maybe.
Good, Stan.
Okay, so far, okay, fine. So maybe like let's do one thing. I will give you one more